Welcome back to Helium-11's Wild Wonderful World of Video Games. Today is Friday, April 24th at about 4 p.m. and we are playing some of the Desolate Hope and I don't know what accent that was. This is my first real time trying to do this game in post-commentary. Yeah, and we can fast forward through these sections, which is kind of convenient. Look at that planet slowly rising in the distance. That's cool. I'm glad it's Friday. I usually have a lighter mood on Fridays. I usually get very overwhelmed on Thursdays. So junior year has been tough. It's had its very, very good moments, but it has been tough. So I'd say the best moment of junior year was being able to do a Let's Play of Lost Winds Winter of the Melodias, my favorite game. I'm kidding about that being the best moment of junior year, possibly, although it was one of the best. It might even be the best. No, I don't know. I don't know, I'm feeling more and more like I need a therapist to talk to my problems, but I'm terrible about talking about stuff, so I don't know. I might not be kidding about Lost Winds Winter of the Melodias being my favorite game. I think that might be my favorite game. But speaking of games, I have been playing Phantasy Star IV. It's called the End of the Millennium, I think. Which is fitting because it was released in 1995. It's either 93 or 95, some odd number. I don't know, I guess the Sega Genesis, I don't actually know when the Sega Genesis started, because I know the Super Nintendo was 1991, and Sonic games were, I think, around the early 90s. I don't think the Sonic games came after the Donkey Kong Country games. Anyway, yeah, Steam, for those of you who aren't on Steam as often as I am, and I feel kind of guilty about it because I'm wasting so much time on Steam, but anyway, yeah, no, Steam has a lot of cool things. I'm not there for like CSGO and stupid stuff like that. I'm there just finding cool indie games, and I found this on Steam, etc., etc. Steam has a collection of Sega classic games for the Master Drive, I think that's what that console is called, and the Sega Genesis. So I had Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I've had that for maybe a year. I've only made a little bit of progress on it. But recently, I don't know what devil moved me to do so, but I was just like, I want more classic Sega games. And I started being like, well, they have all these Sega RPGs, and like, I've been talking to one of my friends recently about like a lot of classic 16-bit RPGs, like Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy and Secret of Evermore and Chrono Trigger and stuff like that. And just, it makes me almost like wish that I had grown up playing more of that genre, because I still know, I feel like I love the music of those games, but I still know so little about them. And of course, I've played RPGs, I've played this, I've played Paper Mario, and then I've played like Breath of Death 7 and Cthulhu Saves the World, which are based on classic 16-bit RPGs, but they're not actually classic 16-bit RPGs, they're made in like 2013 or something. So I got Phantasy Star IV just because it looked interesting, it had nice graphics, and I've been playing it for a little bit. It's interesting, it's very pretty. I like the music in most places. I got to one level and I was like, this music sounds like Mega Man music, that's what this is. But I kept making fun of like, every time the battle music starts up, it sounds like an angry vacuum cleaner, which is a bit of an exaggeration, but to me that's, I don't know. You gotta be careful when you write battle music in an RPG game, because you're gonna be hearing it literally thousands of times. It's just like, ugh. So, anyway. But yeah, I was like, grinding a lot, and then I was like, well, I can just use like magic spells and like, I don't know. I got through this one area that was like kind of towards the beginning of the game, but it was like still cool, and it was like this like blue owl guy got added to my party, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then I made it through the factory level that I was talking about. It was kind of like a factory, and it had like the Mega Man music that I was talking about, and I kept like Steam has like the Sega emulator on Steam basically has like a save state function, so I kept using, and I was like, I know I'm gonna die, these enemies are tough and like I don't have a lot of attack power or whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna die. And I kept resaving my state because I was like, well, I should reload my state if I get into too terrible of a problem. But I kept making progress, and something about me, I just don't want to undo my progress. So I got to the point where like 3 out of my 4 characters were dead, and my last character was down to 2 HP. And every time a battle spawned, I couldn't escape it, so I would just instantly die. And I was like, well, this is fun. But I made it out of there, and I progressed the story because I was just like, one time I reloaded the state, and I was able to run to the door quick enough. So that was cool. Yeah, that game is interesting. I can't really say more about it than that. It's just, it's interesting, and I've been playing it recently, and it's been making me nostalgic for 90s era RPGs. I feel like I haven't played a ton of RPGs. I don't really consider Zelda games RPGs, but they can be a bit like tedious. I mean, like, it kind of makes sense for me to want to play platformers because like I love games where you can just kind of explore and make progress and have a good time without like feeling like you're wasting a ton of time. And in RPGs, it's very easy to feel like you're wasting a ton of time. I don't know. But I have been playing Donkey Kong Country 3 a little bit recently. I see that one of the YouTubers that I like, that I discovered through Grand Poo World and other Kaizo Mario games like that, his name is Hank Sinatra, and I guess he has the #2 world record for the Grand Poo World 2 speedrun. But anyway, I like him. He's just one of those YouTubers that I like because they're relatively bland, but I don't know, not like dumb, and they don't swear a lot, and like, I don't know, he's been playing some cool games, like, I think the original Kaizo Mario World, or Kaizo 3, or I forget what, and Shovel Knight, and I guess he's been playing Donkey Kong Country 3 now, but I've never beaten Donkey Kong Country 3. I've had it on the Wii U Virtual Console for a long time, and I've just never gotten around to beating it. I've gotten pretty far, but I think I got to one level that was like the guys who hold up the DK coin shields, except the level is just like all about them. And get that autoplay going. I was concerned that it would be difficult to post-commentate a battle, but honestly, like, do you want to hear me go like, okay, his HP is halfway down, now I need to charge, now I need to do this, but like, I will say that these battles are going, excuse me, they're going a lot faster because I can just use that head start right at the beginning and get those mini games out right away, and I'm so used to like just getting those mini games out right away that I almost don't think about it. And actually, while I was editing this, it kind of bugged my OCD because you'll see I have 3 mini games up and there's a gap where the 4th one should be, and I didn't even think about that. And now I'm like, okay, the one on the far left is Dragon, and that's Mirad's minigame. By the way, what's going on with that one? It looks like it's glitching or something. I can't tell what's going on with it. And then that's Fun Road, and then that's Plukes. but not Old West. And Old West is Malins, but Malins is such an MVP anyway that I didn't really care about getting out his minigame, and I don't know, I might feel like that for the rest of the LP, but I do like Old West. And funny enough, Old West reminds me of the Quick Draw minigame in Kirby's Adventure, which is also set in the Old West. It's kind of a parody of the Old West. Yeah, speaking of other video games, this morning I was playing Cube Escape Paradox before my class, which is a game made by Rusty Lake, who's a Dutch independent video game developer. They make a lot of point-and-click puzzle games based on Twin Peaks. And the Cube Escape Paradox especially is very, very obviously inspired by Twin Peaks, but in kind of a cute way. And I guess they have a lot of Cube Escape games, but they're basically based on like Escape the Room type games. But the Chapter 2 of Cube Escape Paradox gets very involved. It's like, this game is easily going to go on for an hour because like it's much more complicated than Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is free, Chapter 2 you have to pay like $3 or $4 for, but I definitely recommend it if you're interested in indie games, if you like Twin Peaks at all. So that's Ger Garun 1.0, and that was a pretty hefty battle, and that was fun. Our damage was 218, and that shows that we're doing a lot better than we were with the first couple of bosses, or at least a lot more over-leveled. Would you like to hear what I found? I'm sweating espresso. After that, let's head down to the deactivation terminal. I want to show you something. The virus was attacking the basic programs for simulating weather. That's strange. There are systems much more vital to attack. Maybe it just wanted to rain on our parade. Ha ha. Now let's get back to work. I've detected another item under attack. Okay. Well, there you go. So that's one of the bosses that I'm more afraid of. For some reason, like Ger Garun, even Ger Garun 1.0 was like really tough the first time I played this game, and then Puppeton 1.0 was somehow much easier than that. But I haven't even gotten to Puppeton 1.0. That'll be in the next video, which I've also already recorded, so that's fun. Iriar and Mirad Mora, the water level that I hate because it's so slow. And also I've been reading for fun. I love books. I finished a book called The Book of Merlin. It's by T.H. White. It's supposedly the 5th book of a series, but I haven't read the first 5. So I was like, well, maybe I want to read the first 5. But the Book of Merlin has almost nothing to do with Arthurian legend. It's almost like, it feels like a book that you should read in your ethics class. But it's a lot like Harry Potter, actually. It's fun, and it's kind of whimsical. It's not necessarily lighthearted because it's very anti-war, and it's kind of sad that, like, Arthur has to die, King Arthur has to die, and he has to be betrayed by his son in the end. Spoiler. But, it has these beautiful, like, basically 99% of the book is Merlin decides to teach Arthur about humans by, like, giving him the perspective of other animals, and he turns him into an ant, and then he turns him into a goose. So the ants basically have fascism, and the geese basically have anarchy, but it's like a good form of anarchy. But the book is kind of political because, like, Merlin at one point says, like, I'm an anarchist like any other sensible person, and it's like, well, okay. I mean, the book was written in the 30s, I think, so I don't know. And that's about the end of this video. Quarantine has been interesting, to say the least, and I hope you all are staying safe. Hopefully will become adjusted to this, but not too adjusted, and this will be over and everybody will be safe. So thank you for watching this episode of The Desolate Hope. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.